My mic is on. My mic is on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My mic is on. Woo, PogChamp. We're going to review patch 10.9 notes. It's kind of weird, because usually this is the time of year where we are preparing for MSI and we have no MSI. Greetings, fellow gamers. You lost me. Buffed, Cho'Gath, Fiddlesticks, Nar, Queen, Lysandra, Kane. Okay, that's a bunch of silliness right there. Nerfed, Bard, Nami, Karthus, Trundle, Wukong. Karthus is a bit strange to see, but yeah, Karthus is pretty good in solo queue. Wukong is absurdly broken. You guys have seen my reactions on this channel when Wukong was released. Wukong didn't get nerfed, and then Wukong didn't get nerfed again for some reason. Trundle, I guess, is aimed at pro play specifically, but I think it's weird to me because I don't think Trundle needs a nerf. I think Trundle needs figuring out. Nami also solo queue nerf. Nami has absurdly high win ratio. Fiddlesticks, I'm curious about the buffs because I feel like Fiddlesticks is in a position where people haven't figured out how to play against him. Like Fiddlesticks is always in a niche where he relies on outsmarting the enemy. And I think for solo queue, that's also always something that's so powerful. Like I would be surprised if Fiddlesticks win ratio is below 50. But nevertheless, let's continue. Nar. Let's see what they do with Nar. I think Nar needs a rework, but nevertheless. FPX Thresh, FPX Vayne, FPX Malphite, Lee Sin. Honestly, this is probably the year I'm the least excited for the skins. Because I just think that they look like Power Rangers. But they're all the same color, so there is no Power Ranger feel to it. Nevertheless, we continue. Summon's Rift ranked split ends soon. The Summoner Rift ranked split... Oh, what is this? Who cares? Champions. Bard. W movement speed reduced and cooldown increased. E cooldown increased. Wow. Okay. Oh, this is pretty hefty, honestly. This is pretty hefty. But in terms of I wonder if this changes Bard at all. Like this is gonna drop him a point, so a couple of points in win ratio, but in consideration losing the move speed and the move speed here 4 seconds is quite big. But in some cases, there's still cases where this cooldown doesn't matter. Let's say you roam mid, right? You portal in. Very rarely you get to portal twice anyway, right? Like the cooldown was pretty big in the first place. Of course, it's going to matter in some scenarios, but there were some scenarios where it didn't matter. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the cooldown was already really big and they made it a bit bigger. There were scenarios where you didn't need to actually, portal again. So this is going to matter for his roam speed and, of course, it's going to impact... Whoa, what am I doing? I think it's deserved, though. I think Bard was too dominant because he was too quick. He's too quick around the map. Collecting meeps gives him move speed. I don't think they want to remove that from the game because it feels more rewarding to pick up the meeps. I think that's a big fun part about Bard. And this is more about just reducing his overall speed. And I think that's alright. I think it's deserved. Cho'Gath. E damage increase later. Okay, so when I see E damage increases, we know instantly that this is... they think that Glacial Augment Cho'Gath is in a good place. I think that gets enough play. So I think it's fine to agree. I think this is more for jungle tank Cho'Gath top. And I think it's okay for Cho to get a bit of love. Because I think right now that the other tanks are just better. When we think of, Maokai, Ornn, I think they are much better. But I don't think this is like big enough for it to impact that matchup. But I think those are definitely matchups where you want to max E first. You can max E also in the jungle. So, it adds up because you hit 3 times, right? So this is a triple. The damage buff is tripled, so to speak. So this is fine. Fiddlesticks, E damage increase later. Just because he's Scarecrow with a scythe doesn't mean Fiddlesticks can be helpful to his buddies in lane. We're giving Fiddlesticks a little extra damage to his primary in lane as a support ability, so he can more adequately help out his partner in fights. So Fiddlesticks, I think, is misunderstood. I just want to make sure here that I am not talking out of my booty. Let's see, Fiddlesticks. Give me your win ratio, Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks. Skill priority 110 games. That's not a big enough sample size. 51% win ratio. B+. This is jungle. Support. Much lower. Okay. But jungle is okay-ish. The pick rate isn't super high, but... Nevertheless, this buff, I don't think it is the right buff. I think in support lane, probably you max E. But with the change to E, it's not like you're going to pull off that many crazy E's. You know, the amount of E's you do in a fight is very minimal. I don't think this is too I think this is like a placebo buff. It's like, hey, we buff Fiddlesticks, guys. Please play him more so we can figure out how strong he is. That's what I'm feeling about this. Gnar. Q cooldown refund increased, E damage increased. So this is all in Mega. Q boulder toss 10%, E crunch. Honestly, I think the problem with Gnar is he was OP when he was good at everything. And I think that's just the wrong approach when it comes to the champion. I think the unique identity of the champ is the fact that Mega is supposed to be a stronger form, not just different. Because right now, Gnar is just okay at everything. Like, Mega Gnar is not that mega. There are champions that are better doing what Mega Gnar wants to do, right? And then as a little thing that hops around, there are a lot of champions that do that better too. I don't know, like you can think Teemo or Jace or whatever range champion you can think of. They're just better range champions than Gnar. Sure, he has percentage damage naturally in his kit, and there are moments where he can shine. But I feel like Riot needs to commit to the identity of Gnar, and that just, you know, make him super, super weak when he's tiny, and make him super, super strong when he's mega. And then you can explore that world. Right? Because that's what Gnar was at the beginning. Gnar was that at the beginning, and then the smaller one got buffed, and the big Mega was nerfed, and then there was like balance, but it was balance in the sense that he was strong constantly and he was just overbearing. And I think if Gnar is going to be viable and they're going to continue buffing him slightly all over the place, and he's strong always, I think Gnar will always be between the line of either OP or completely useless because he's trying to cover too many bases. So I think they should just commit to making Mini Gnar super weak and making Mega Gnar super, super strong. So there is like a clear counterplay pattern and a play pattern that Gnar should look for, you know. Mini Gnar is about survival and getting to that point, and then with Mega Gnar you have it, you feel rewarded, and the enemy team can also, you know, use this to counterplay. Because I remember the days when it's like, oh, Gnar doesn't have Mega, let's play around it, or whatever. Now it's like, who cares? You know, who cares? So I would love for Riot to really commit to an identity, because this doesn't change my opinion of Gnar. Like the crunch damage 30, it's decent. You know, it's okay. It's not non-existent. 10% is also non-existent. Like this is going to matter, you know? But still, Gnar will always be either broken or completely useless, in my opinion. Base movement speed decreased 10. What? 10 move speed. Jesus. This is super big. I know there are memes. I want to say movement speed and memes, so it came out in memes. There are memes about Irelia nerf move speed and so forth, but this is massive, especially for a jungler. Like the speed of how you travel on the map is so key, and Karthus was something that felt really immobile in the first place. Now, when you're playing Nidalee against Karthus, landing spells is going to be easier, getting after him is going to be easier. All matchups just get worse for Karthus because of this. A lot of matchups for Karthus is all about dodging that key skill shot is going to connect and hit you in the head and, you know, go for you. And this decreases jungle speed, this decreases ganks, this decreases fighting power. This is a massive nerf, and this really puts Karthus in a position where he's even a bigger of a farm bot. He's like a walking turret. 10 move speed is super much. So this is wow. This could put him in the coffin, man. Wouldn't surprise me. Coffin meme. Kane. Q cooldown decreased. Bonus damage now applies to minions. Let me just drink water. Like I'm not even saying words sometimes. Q cooldown decreased. Bonus damage now applies to minions. Ooh. Wow. Wow. 6 seconds cooldown on rank 1. That is nuts. Like, why are they trying to shoehorn Kayn into the game? This is super huge. It's going to increase his clear speed and bonus damage against monsters and now applies to minions. This is also massive. Considering tanks are current in the meta and Q is going to just give you instantly prio. Like, I can't imagine a world where Kayn actually loses prio level 1. I've seen some Kayn 1 tricks actually play Kayn mid lane and they just look to push and then they get Mobies and then they gangbot through walls. So this is going to be a massive buff for those guys. Decaying slow as well, 90%. That's pretty massive. That's like almost a root pretty much that, still allows you to do dashes and TPs and whatever and flashes. So this buff is huge for lane Kayn. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of mid lane Kayn, top Kayn, especially mid lane Kayn, the Kayn that just roams and is annoying and just capitalizes on your bot lane, not really, connecting with the pings that you're pinging at them. Go back. You get me? And Kayn in general always had something that he was always naturally fine into tanks, right? And this could definitely nudge him in that direction where he's going to get picked top lane a lot. I am super excited about this, but he's been buffed a lot. Like, we all know that Kayn, whenever he reaches form, becomes absurdly OP, and this makes him out of form really strong too. I think this is a massive buff. This is just W max 1 point Q, because putting points in Q is a bit worse. But even then, getting 4-second cooldown on Q is so big, especially if you are playing, Rust. It's so big. You're gonna be unkillable in a lot of scenarios because you heal so much from Q. So this is really big buff. Start playing Kayn lane. That's what I'm gonna do. Lissandra, Q cooldown decreased. Even the Ice Queen isn't ever present in pro play anymore, is still underperforming in all skill brackets. We're pulling back on one of the harsher nerfs we gave her when she was dominating the pro spotlight. Cooldown. Okay, so early cooldown. So this is not so exciting. Not so exciting because Lissandra was not weak level 1. She never was. She was not weak level 1, and usually when you see a buff like this, you begin to explore the option of maxing other spells. But maxing E or maxing W on Lissandra is just trash. So it doesn't exist. And all of a sudden, you get level 3 or level 4, depending when you want to skill up Q second time. You get to level 4 and the buff is no longer that present. And it decreases with time. And level 9, you are same champion again. I don't think Lissandra was necessarily weak from level 1 to 5 or even 6. It is post that point, and this doesn't help her at all. So I think this is a pointless buff. I don't think Lissandra is a good champion. So stay clear of Lissandra. Poison. Base health and mana reduced. Okay, 10 and 5. Surging Tides, move speed, okay. I think this keeps her intact. I don't think this changes the flow of the game. Quinn, Q near sight duration increased. Q blinding assault. Near sight 0.25. This is going to help her in range versus range matchups specifically. Like whenever you get this near sight, it matters in almost every matchup, a melee matchup too. So this is definitely decent. I think Quinn is a bit underrated because I think Sanguine Blade is quite broken. I think Sanguine Blade is one of the strongest items in the game, and you can definitely get some Quinn games in and do well with her, especially in solo queue because her ult is so powerful to take over the map. I've played some Quinn AD carry, that's also nice, especially in games where your bottom matchup is going to be rough. You can play her kind of like you would play Twitch, but in a different sense, because obviously you're visible. But Quinn is an interesting champ. I think it still has a place in the game, and any buff is very, very welcome. Trundle. So Trundle is something that has been very, very prevalent in pro play, and because of pro play, it's been seen playing solo queue. I think Trundle is in a place where I think junglers are, Trundle is a champion that counters. He's very good into Olaf. He's very good into most melee champions. He's decent into most melee matchups, and on top of that, he's very good into tanks. Right? He's very, very good into tanks. So naturally, he emerged in the meta. He has good clear speed, very, very healthy, and in general, is always okay, even in the worst matchups. So Trundle has been a very, very good blind pick. Subjugate this nerf isn't too massive. I think it's all right. I don't think it's the end of days for Trundle, but I think the key thing for Trundle and most junglers is to recognize what is good in the Trundle. And then all of a sudden, people are going to start playing Nidalee, Kindred, and the Graves again, and this is where Trundle struggles. And we have the same cycle of life and death that always continues. Gragas Lee Sin gets picked, and then there's a lot of other junglers that are counter to those or are good into those, and then there's just a rock, paper, scissors, and that's what we're reaching again. Trundle being good means ranged junglers are going to resurge, and then when ranged junglers are good again, it's going to go back to Lee and Gragas, and then it's just going to be a cycle. Always a cycle. Wukong, finally. Base armor decreased, Q damage decreased, W clone damage decreased. We've seen players quickly and effectively harness the power of Wukong's rework. No shit. Base stats, 3 armor. That's not a big deal considering he has so much armor from the passive. Crushing blow, 20. Okay, 10 damage. 10 damage on Crushing blow, considering W also punches with Q, and you get the percentage damage nerf too. It matters. These are some small nerfs that keeps Wukong still relevant. I think Wukong is still going to be played. I still think Jungle Wukong is going to be super, super strong. This is fine. This is a fine nerf. Okay, thank you. If we have to be grateful about something. Sanguine Blade. Oh, you just saw Quinn nerf buffs and we see Sanguine Blade buff. Cost decreased. Cost 1,000. So it costs 100 less and you get 5 AD more. This pushes it to broken, I think. I think this pushes it to broken. I think this champion is super, super strong, and I think it needs to be abused more. I think Sanguine Blade, honestly, let's go on to wiki, lolwiki. Let's see the cost efficiency of this item when you actually get the buff, because I am sure it's something that is crazy. Well, this is awkward. How's your day? How are you holding up? I'm glad to hear that. How's your grandmother? Please. Oof. Sanguine Blade. While that's loading, we can continue. Well, NALCS balance changes. Bug fixes. Sylas ultimate time for specific champion no longer show on spectator mode. They removed that. Added voice lines. Added sound lines have been moved to his joke. Well, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. No, I feel so bad. Oh. These skins don't look that good, man. Oh no. I don't like these skins, if I'm gonna be honest. Like the other, like, we had IG skins, and the IG skins were like the best ones yet, you know? So they had to top that somehow. And they just didn't. They have the Balenciaga, the shoes that look like socks. Look at Trash's neck, man. What's going on with Trash's neck? Oh no. Look at the Mickey Mouse gloves that Gangplank has. My goodness. A Malphite is a robot? Look, there's a little person in there, man. That's actually cool. That's pretty cool that there's a little person controlling Malphite. But they have to give him different voice lines, right? Because if he says rock solid, like it's the guy inside this robot is like cosplaying Malphite is gonna be kind of silly if he has the same voice lines. If he has the same voice lines, it's gonna be pretty cringe, I think. It should be like reporting in. Like I tried to make a radio voice, trying to be like a guy who's in a robot, but it didn't work too well. But you get my point. Yeah. Sanguine Blade. Mountain Blade. Close. Yeah. Not a big fan of these skins. I'm sorry, FPX. I'm sorry, design team. I'm just, it's my flavor. If I'm crazy, guys, leave a comment, but I'm not vibing with this. I am not vibing with this. And the wiki is not vibing with me. I'm getting burdened. I'm gonna do another search just in Sanguine Blade. How about Leaguepedia? Is it better? Leaguepedia doesn't have cost efficiency. Trivia. Please, I want to be finished with the video here. Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh, what the fuck is happening? Oh no. Oh. Look at that. Do you guys see it? We found it. Whoa. Look at that. It's super high. It's very, very high. Look at that. The golden efficiency is very, very high. Very, very, very high. But of course, it's conditional. I understand that. It is conditional. But achieving that condition isn't impossible. It just isn't impossible. And another thing to point out is Sanguine Blade increases the speed of how you clear jungle too. That is something that is also crazy. Sanguine Blade works if you're doing Nash. Sanguine Blade works if you're doing jungle. It works when you're pushing on your own. It's not only as an item that interacts with the enemy, because that's what I thought first when it was released. But it's an item that is going to, increase the speed of you pushing, the speed of everything. Especially if you're isolated in a matchup and you are, playing on side. This item can be crazy, crazy good. So I am a big fan of Sanguine Blade, and any buffs are welcome. The last buffs are decent. The last buffs are not bad. Like this was a similar buff that pushed Manamune to space. Manamune got an increase of, I think, 1080 or something, and all of a sudden it was one of the most OP items in the game, cost-efficient item in the game. So pay attention to this, because I think the conditions to meet Sanguine Blade is easy to obtain. I am a big fan of this item. Nevertheless, that ends the video. Sorry for the delay with the loading. I still don't know what the fuck is happening here. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best. Thank you. Bless you and bless your face. What did you think about the patch notes? Leave a comment below. The best and juiciest comment gets a Dark Star Mordekaiser. Boom. And the LPP Chroma. Boom.